What is happening, Austin Men's Development? Steve Maeda here, and I just got done with our rebuild call, our Monday call, and something came to mind. And we were talking about masculinity and the lie that we buy into of what it is. And it is something really important. And see, this is an important factor in it all because I make these videos for men who want to better their lives, who want to take responsibility for their lives, for guys who, like a lot of guys on here, going through divorces, going through custody battles where they're being wrecked and they don't want to be a victim. They want to win, but they want to win for themselves and their family. And specifically, I was talking to a guy, and we were talking about the story of the old man and the sea and how this was a boring book, right? And I don't know if you're familiar with the book. It's by Ernest Hemingway. I'm going to sum it up really quick here. But number one, a guy goes out to sea. He catches the biggest fish of his life. It's the most amazing thing in the world. And as he's reeling it in and pulling it in, and the fish is fighting for his life and he's at war with the fish, all these things come and eat the fish, and he's left with no more fish, and he comes back a broken man. Typical Ernest Hemingway story. I mean, if you've ever read Hemingway's stuff, it's like this really boring dialogue, which Old Man in the Sea isn't. And this point at the end where it all comes to fruition. And this is so important, right? This is such an important thing for men to realize, is our battle to be a man is not to impress other people. It's not to look good. It's not to be the hero. There's so much that I want to say about that. In fact, I did this article on it. Our role in being a great man and being a good man has to do with us finding it within ourselves. And we are taught over and over again in our society that we can be something else. That in order to be something good, we need to believe in Santa Claus. We need to believe that there's something that's going to give us this gifts just for being there, just for being allowed to be there. And in that, we discount our role in being a man, in masculinity, in finding the value in doubting yourself, being afraid, being hammered down by a culture, being hammered down by other people, by losing our jobs, by going through our divorces, by our hardships. And why? Because the value of greatness is not given to you. It is not easy. It is not fun. It is not something that is awarded for somebody who sits on his ass and complains. It is not awarded to somebody who knows more information on Reddit. It is not somebody who can listen to the amount of podcasts, who can listen to me or listen to Jocko Willink or whatever, or all these people. It is not that. It is somebody who can live his own life and build his own life. And we're not allowing ourselves to do that as men. And where this comes down to the old man in the sea is because this guy was saying it was boring. And it is, like, Hemingway books can be boring, man. There's a lot I can say about Ernest Hemingway that I like and don't like. But in this whole deal is this man walks away a broken man from having his fish taken away from him, this battle for life being lost. And it was such a glorious thing. Why? Because his glory was other people's eyes. His glory was how that would define him. His glory was all these different things of titles that he assumed about himself, and not realizing that that experience, that fight, that will, that masculinity was so important. And to be honest, I'm probably misinterpreting the story because it could be, it's been a while since I read it, but we were discussing it on our board, on our TSL board. But why? Or perhaps Hemingway's whole thing was like, that is what made him a man. But masculinity and the essence of being a great man has more to do with how you live and why you live and what you take to the table. And man, this could go into a lot of Hemingway books, Farewell to Arms, For Whom the Bell Tolls, all these different things. Because what makes you a man are your actions. The result, the end of it, you're going to have loss. You're not going to be the superhero that you needed. But you know what? You don't need Santa Claus to understand what giving means, what Christmas means, what holidays mean. You don't need a Jocko Willink. You don't need a Jordan Peterson. You don't need a Joe Rogan in order to understand yourself. And why? Because masculinity is already within you and you need to find it. It's right down the street. It's in the man who went to work today, but he didn't want to. It's in the man who sacrificed a part of what he wanted and desired for his values. And that isn't because he had to manifest it. That isn't because he was insecure. That's because life delivered him life and he lived by it. We need to stop being victims, and we need to stop accepting that. And if we do, then we will never, ever have a chance to be a great man. This is something that came from our boards and came from our groups, and what I'd like to see more here on the free group at Austin Men's Development. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want you to sign up for Men's Development Excellence if it is not right for you. I don't want you to sign up for the Rebuild Challenge if it's not right for you. But what I want to show here in our free group in Austin Men's Development, or on YouTube, or wherever the hell you're watching this, is a community. I want to build a community of men that want to do better, who look at the simple things, who don't need fame and glory to define themselves, but need their themselves fulfilled so that their dreams can be fulfilled, so that they can be fulfilled. I don't want you to chase the BS that society's giving you. I don't want you to be a mindless drone. I don't want you to be popular for the masses. I don't want you to be any of those things. I want you to be you. And man, I will tell you this with pure integrity, is that is what I have done, and that is what we have done for the last 15 years, and I want it to continue. So if you like that message, let's get started on it. How do we get started on it? How do we simplify our mind today? How do we simplify our body today? How do we simplify our expression? How do we simplify our sex in terms of masculinity? How do we simplify our purpose? How do we do those things as great men, doing the simple actions and walking that grand road of life? Because it is the one within you, and the only reward at the end is how you feel. Stop selling yourself short, man. Let's get involved. Let's get on this board. Let's get active with it, and let's do something special. All right, I'm out of here. Happy Monday. I'm actually about to go to Orlando to go visit Ted Rice, good friend of mine. He's going through some tough stuff, and that's what happens when great men have problems. We walk through it together. He's been there for me, and hopefully I can be there for them as much as he's been there. Be there for him as much as he's been there for me. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao.